Good morning. I'm Lisa Loomis on Mad River Valley Television. With me today in our Zoom studio are Charlie Hosford, Jess Tompkins, and Joni Zweig. And they're going to explain to us about a community art project and its genesis and how it evolved. Good morning, all.
Good
Good
morning.
morning.
Joni, I think you're going to start, right?
So in the very beginning, we were having some community meetings of people interested in volunteering to prepare the community for a possible COVID spike, and also just to deal with the whole issue of staying home, people being isolated, being bombarded with news. That was pretty scary. And one of the ideas that came up was the importance of putting positive images in people's minds, things that would be uplifting and inspiring to kind of counterbalance all of the fear and negativity we were seeing around us and anticipating. So, with that in mind, we decided to put it out to the community and see who had what ideas for what we could do that would not only bring some beauty to more beauty to our beautiful community, but also engage our community members in moving forward with a positive message. So I put it out there, and Charlie Hosford responded. A lot of people responded that
Joni,
they'd like to.
can I ask you a question? Who was
Sure.
working with you? How, I mean, was it you? How, who else in
So
the community was working with you?
Yeah, it was a small volunteer gathering that Jess Tompkins was instrumental in putting together. And there were a few different people. Rebecca Baruzzi from the Community Fund was part of that, and other people as well. And so this was early. I think this was, Jeff, you can correct me, maybe in February some point.
No, it wasn't. We were going right away in March.
Okay. So things had already, COVID had already had a grip on the media and the community at that point. And so I put it out there, and Charlie Hosford came forward and said he had an idea that he would like to create an opportunity. He would create canvases, basically painting a 12-inch by 18-inch piece of plywood, and he was willing to make 50, maybe 100. And if we could figure out a way to get them out to people and give people a chance in their own way to just share their creativity and their upliftment about Mad River Strong, and STARS, which tends to be what our community turns to when we're trying to express solidarity.
That's awesome. So then, Charlie, why don't you tell me what happened next?
Okay. It was a pretty simple idea, frankly, to engage, first of all, the elementary school kids who are all encapsulated at home, and see if we could release some creative energies. So the idea was to make these canvases, which Joni just described as just small pieces of plywood painted white. And the other part of it was we included a silver star, a 5-inch silver star. And the only instruction to anybody that wanted to participate was that they could paint, draw, montage, anything they wanted on the canvas. And then they needed to include the silver star at some point in the canvas, so their creation was connected in some way to the next person's creation.
Oh, where did you get so many stars?
Just made.
You made silver stars out of what?
Wood.
Oh, okay. Okay. Wow.
So each person got a canvas and a silver star and a simple instruction, and away it went. And we eventually distributed nearly 200 canvases. Both kids, teenagers, and a number of adults participated, and the began to flow back with every imaginable sort of medium, including, stones, feathers, and always, usually, some words of encouragement about, resilience, community courage, hope, and so forth. And we took these canvases, and you've probably seen them in the entrances to the post office, Valerie Porter, the Hurons, and hung them in groups of 4 or 5 uh, and there they rest. And you know, we never imagined, or I never imagined the range of creativity that was going to sort of emerge. But if you
So
look,
I have a question about that,
yeah,
about the range of creativity. So I'm imagining that the three of you have seen almost every canvas. Is that correct? I want you to
correct.
tell me about your favorite, the one that moved you the most, or made you laugh out loud. You can
Gosh,
start, Charlie, or go ahead.
Excuse me.
Let's start with
You
Charlie.
know, that I actually don't have a favorite. You know, some of the ones that got signed by very young artists, I should say, you know, 4, 5, 6-year-olds,
Mhm.
were just incredibly, to me, incredibly moving. You know, they were splashes of color, and in some cases, you know, just words that you could barely, you know, interpret, but you know, they were there, and were just really, if you want it, the Hurons of the Lion. It's just, you know, drawn by I think a 7-year-old. Uh, Anyways, I don't have an absolute
All right.
favorite, but
Okay, you don't
the
have a
one I
favorite.
posted at the one I posted at the Valley Reporter is probably the most patriotic.
That's a beautiful. Thank you
The
very much for
flag
that.
and the star.
Joni, what was your favorite?
Um, well, before I answer that question, I just do want to give a shout out to Amanda Gates. Amanda was amazing because we were trying to maintain social distancing while getting these canvases out and back. She took on the role of being sort of our dispatcher. So we put it out on Front Porch Forum. We put it out in different ways, and if people were interested in canvases, and Charlie very nicely packaged each canvas in a paper bag with its star and its directions, and left them at the Masonic Lodge. So again, a thank you to the Masons. And then Amanda dispatched a group of volunteers who came forward, and as people called in and said, "Oh, we would like 2 or we would like 3," she would get her volunteers all lined up and set up a route for them, and they would drop off the paper bags, the right number to each family. So it covered Granville all the way to Moortown. I think we even had a few in Duxbury. It's pretty impressive.
Wow.
And then she followed up on that and made sure. So even though Charlie, we sent out 200 canvases, I don't believe we got 200 back. Some families just wanted to hang on to theirs. So we haven't actually gotten to see them all. And in terms of my favorite, you know, Lisa, I was blown away. I had no idea. You know, I had in my mind what they might look like. And of course, that was nothing compared to the breadth of the creativity in this community. One style after another. There were some amazing ones. And I have to, of course, say my favorite ones were the ones my grandchildren would. Only
Yeah.
because
That's fair.
the artists were, right.
Jess, what about you? What was your favorite?
I kind of like, I'm with everyone else in this, that it's really hard to nail down which one is my favorite, but there are a couple that jump out. There's one with a beehive, and the bee, I think, is kind of jumping out on a spring. Very creative. The line is impressive, and I really like the fact that there was one that says, I think it's something about look up at the stars, which then was so cool because it correlated with the song that we were able to get from the Holter kids. We asked them to write a song, and they wrote a song, produced it, and it's absolutely beautiful, and it's called "Look at the Stars." So it all worked out, you know, like it was meant to be.
Why don't you tell us just a little bit about what happened after the banners they're on display, but then how did the video get created?
I think it was just an idea, like if we were still going to be in lockdown, how are people going to be able to really see these and try to get them out? And so the idea of a slideshow came about, and I thought of the Holters immediately, just knowing how talented they are, and they are. So once we started getting this is constant communication between all of us, again, Amanda being a key part. Charlie would take a photo of each one, and send it to Amanda. She kept it in a file. I took that file and edited all the video or all the individual photos, and then created a slideshow, which was not too hard, and then added the song after the Holter sent it, and it was just, yeah, it's great. It's beautiful. I think people are really, really gonna love it.
What are the names of the 3 Holter kids? So this is going to be airing on Mad River Valley Television soon.
Yeah.
Do you have any plans to share the banners with the Warren 4th of July prayer flag effort?
So after we're going to leave them, the plan currently is leaving the assembled pieces up until around October, Columbus Day weekend, and then we'd like to hang it in the barn at Flatbread, so other like visitors could come through and see the artwork. We'll also be distributing the video, like the Lawsons would like to put it up. I think it's going to go to channel, what is it, Joni?
Well, it's going to go on the cable channel.
On the cable channel.
Along with our local radio, our local television station, Channel 44.
And the song, I think the song I'd like to
I
send
would love to get it out on Facebook and YouTube. And it's just, I think every community will be able to take inspiration from this, because the message is not just for the Mad River Valley. It really resonates, I think, for all communities. The idea that if you come together to make you hope, it just makes everything a whole lot easier.
Awesome, you guys. So what's next? Well, besides gathering them and taking them all to the barn at Flatbread in October, what's next for you?
You know, I would like to after the October one, I'd like to do a hanging in each library, Moortown, Warren, and Waitsfield, in the kids section, and probably after that they can be distributed back to the artists if they'd like to claim them, and many have indicated they would like to have them back. So
would they ever be for
maybe
sale?
it go.
Would they ever be for sale? Would it be possible, if the artists were okay selling them, that they could be?
Yeah,
sold
we've
at
had
$100?
of making a T-shirt of them, and fundraiser for the community fund. That may take some, capital, and we're not maybe into the commercial part of it yet. But
I know, I got a bunch of irons in the fire.
There's enough spectacular artwork that a T-shirt would be. I'd wear it forever.
That's great, you guys. That's a really nice story. Thank you for taking the time to talk to me about it today.
Thank you, Lisa.
Thanks.
Thank you all. And this will be on Mad River Valley Television, and it sounds like Waitsfield Telecom. And I'm sure we're going to hear more from you art mongers going forward. So thanks very much for your community effort. And I'm Lisa Loomis, and this has been a community conversation on Mad River Valley Television.
Look at the stars. Look at the stars. Oh, these hills are green and strong, and the river's deep and long. And when you were feeling so down, look at the stars. Look at the stars. Through hardships and triumphs, we have come out strong. This feeling of hope, it keeps us going on. 5 golden angels keep us safe from harm. Our lives will be written into history. The family we've built in this community. Lord knows how far we've come from where we started, but we've never parted. No. Whenever you need it, just look around. You know you can feel it. Love is all around. And when you are feeling so down, look at the stars. Look at the stars. Look at the stars. Look at the stars. Oh, these hills are green and strong, and the river's deep and long. When the water runs, it fills our hearts with love. Though these times are so unknown, and you may feel like you're alone, when the path you know is dark and cold, we are there to bring you home. We'll bring you home. Whenever you need it, just look around. You know you can feel it. Love is all around. And when you are feeling so down, look at the stars. Look at the stars. Through hardships and triumphs, we have come out strong. This feeling of hope, it keeps us going on. 5 golden angels keep us safe from harm. Our lives will be written into history. The family we've built in this community. Lord knows how far we've come from where we started, but we've never parted. No. Whenever you need it, just look around. You know you can feel it. Love is all around. And when you are feeling so down, look at the stars. Look at the stars.